You're on your path to retirement. On the journey, you need to be prepared for financial traps along the way. They're quietly waiting for you. And because we don't see them until it's too late, many of us walk right into them. We get snared, and slowly but surely, we become financially drained. Yes, you'll live, but these traps can quietly kill the possibility of a secure retirement. So, what to look out for? Let's get into 8 of the biggest ones. Trap number 1, credit cards. Here's how it goes. You get your first credit card. It feels adult. It feels like free money. And you feel like buying some cool new shoes. Why not, you say to yourself? I'll just pay it off later. It's only $200. It's fine. And you know what? It is fine if you can pay it off on time. Problem is, it can be so tempting not to pay it off right away. After all, you could use that $200 in cash to pay off your card balance. Or you could use that cash now to go to a cool restaurant and then use it to pay just the minimum amount required on your card, maybe around $30. So instead of paying it off, you pay part of the card bill and get charged interest by the credit card company on the remaining balance. Traps have bait. The tempting trap about not paying your balance in full is that the you of today is kicking the can to a future version of you. A future you that you hope will be in a good financial position at the time to come up with the money, or a future you that could be unemployed or dealing with other financial emergencies. Even if those things don't happen and future you is in a good position to pay, they still have to deal with all the purchases you push them that are likely larger than their original prices, stacking up an average card interest rate of 21 to 24%. That's brutal. If you carry a $1,000 balance and make only minimum payments, you'll be paying it off for years, and you'll end up handing the credit card company way more money on those shoes than you originally spent. Money that can't go to your retirement. Cards are convenient, so convenient they make overspending incredibly easy. A card tap or a swipe doesn't feel like real money spent because you never see the real money change hands. But if you're slow paying it back, each item you buy in debt at a high interest is like a slow leak in the boat. You're sinking as you're trying to sail to retirement. How to avoid it? Use credit cards only for what you can pay off in full every single month. If you can't pay it off, you can't afford it. Simple as that. Now, that sounds harsh. Well, here's a harsh word coined by the credit card companies for people who do pay off their cards every month.
He said, we hate you. We hate you guys. We call you deadbeats.
Deadbeats in the upside-down world of the credit card business are the people like Ben Stein, who pay off their bills on time.
That's because they don't make as much money off so-called deadbeats when they pay their bills on time. Embrace being a deadbeat, avoiding the trap of revolving debt, and live a comfortable retirement. Trap number 2 is sneaky because it's small. Subscriptions. Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, that gym you don't go to, that meal kit delivery service. Individually, each are like $10 or $20 a month. No big deal, right? That's the lure of the trap. They seem small, so small that you forget about them. Meanwhile, add them all up, and a CNR research study says that the average American spends $219 a month on subscriptions. That's $2,628 a year. Not exactly chump change. And when we blindly hand money over in subscriptions for what we may not want or even use, it brings up what's called opportunity costs. Meaning, when you make one decision, like keeping a subscription, you're simultaneously trading off other opportunities on something that could provide more value in your life, like putting more money in investments to get to retirement. How to avoid it? Do a subscription audit right now. Look at your bills and spending statements. If your purchases are captured digitally, there are apps and services that can help you find any forgotten subscriptions. Go through your bank account and cancel everything that you haven't used in the last 30 days. No mercy. You can always resubscribe or get what you need and then turn a service off for a while. For example, binge watch Netflix and cancel it until new shows that you want to watch come on. Not using Amazon Prime services enough this year? Cancel and resubscribe and come back in a year where you know you'll save enough on shipping costs for it to be worth it again. Trap number 3 might surprise you: buying a house. Now, I'm not saying don't ever buy a house, but there's this idea that's been drilled in all of our heads that renting is just throwing money away, or it's a given that owning a home is always a great investment. Now, that's not always true. Ask the folks with homes who thought the same thing in 2008. What's the trap? The biggest trap is buying the house before you're financially ready. Otherwise, you could be putting yourself in a position where you're draining all your savings for a down payment, stretching your budget on a mortgage, and then getting hit with repairs, taxes, and fees that you may not have budgeted for, making you essentially house poor. In fact, according to a Bankrate survey, 45% of homeowners have regrets about their current home. Their most common regret? Frustration over the price and maintenance costs and hidden fees. The fix: don't buy a home just because society says you should at a certain age. Get your financial house in order before you actually buy one. Buy when you have a solid emergency fund, you plan to stay in that area for at least 5 to 7 years, and the numbers actually make sense for your situation. Trap number 4, buying a car. This one gets people so bad in their 20s. You get your first real job and you want a nice car. And since you probably need one to get to work, you say to yourself, why not finance the latest and coolest model? It feels good to roll up to work in an Audi or a Lexus, or even a Toyota Tundra, when in reality, what you have to spend is more like a Toyota Corolla budget. And what may not feel good is that if you financed it, you've now got a $500 to $1,000 a month payment for the next 5 to 6 years. And sometimes even longer. A car may be a necessity in today's world, but unless you collect classic cars, it's not an investment. It's more like slowly rotting fruit, even if it's your favorite fruit. A car loses value the second you drive it off the lot. Typically over 20% within the first year and roughly 60% over 5 years. While your car may retain some value, it's really not an asset. It's an expense, especially if you add in all the costs that you may need for repairs and maintenance. And yet, you're financing and making payments based on a level of value you lost the minute you drove it off the lot. And your payment, that doesn't go down. Think about it. Your retirement future could be jeopardized for a purchase that won't be worth anything in the future. The fix? Buy a reliable used car with cash if you can, or at worst, a modest loan on a car that's a few years old. Use it to get from A to B, and that will allow your car to help you accelerate to retirement, rather than steer you away from it. Not enough puns? Let me know in the comments. Trap number 5, college loans. And yes, this one might be already done for some of you, but it's still important. The trap here is that 18-year-olds are asked to take on tens of thousands of dollars in debt before they even know what they want to do with their lives or know what income they'll get from a job after college. And the system we live in kind of normalizes the act of not questioning making such a high borrowing risk. The problem is now, or at least for the time being, your degree and getting a job, much less a high-paying job, are disconnected. Just ask the 23% of Harvard Business School graduates from the spring 2024 batch who did not have jobs 3 months after graduation, a record high in unemployment for the program, or how graduates with a bachelor's degree or higher have an unemployment rate of 7.3% in 2026. Meanwhile, the need to make payments on your loans starts a few months after you leave school. If you have the average student loan debt of $37,000 and you pay 6% interest over 10 years, that's $411 a month you need to manage while likely working a lower paying starter job or not having a job at all. That monthly loan payment is money that can't go towards your future and will drag down your present life. Student debt can cause you to delay and reduce retirement contributions when you do have a job, often 30% less in contributions for those 50 and older compared to peers who are debt-free. And you can go into delinquency. And if you do, Social Security benefits can be garnished when you get into retirement. How to avoid it? Going forward, or if you have younger siblings, is to think critically before taking on debt, both in how much you need to take out, but also what job or occupation can allow you to pay it back. And yes, we, and let's admit, our parents too, all like saying that we went to a cool name school. But perhaps it's time to think of choosing college more like a business decision. A business would ask, how do I get the education I need to make the income I want for less? That might mean lowering your college costs, which can lower your debt level to get to a college degree. Options like community college, trade schools, scholarships, in-state tuition, employers who offer tuition reimbursement, explore all of it. Trap 6. And this one is sneaky because it sounds responsible. Keeping your money in a regular savings account. Problem is, a savings account from most traditional banks don't pay a lot of interest for using your money. Some less than 1%. Why? Well, interest you receive from a commercial bank is basically what that commercial bank uses to buy money from you, the public. And then they use that money and redeploy it as a loan to someone else. Right now, big banks have more money than they need to lend out, so they don't feel the need to pay you that much to hold yours. Not only are you getting less money in most traditional banks, but in times where inflation is running higher than your savings account interest rate, which is almost close to what's happening in 2026, you're actually losing purchasing power. You're only making less than 1% on your money, while inflation is pushing prices up 3% or more. In that situation, your money is basically falling behind. How to avoid it? Keep a 3 to 6 month level of expenses in a high yield savings account. Now, it may take a day or two to get it, but your money is still pretty accessible if you need it. High yield savings banks or accounts are offering much better rates, currently near 3% or even above 4%. Check out options at online banks. Got money beyond those 3 to 6 months saved for an emergency fund? Then it needs to be invested, which leads perfectly into trap number 7, high investment fees. Okay, so you start investing. Good. Problem is, not all investment funds are created equal. Even if you're in a fund that is matching or beating the market, some funds charge fees that quietly eat your returns and your future retirement. Let's see why. The difference is staggering. Over $300,000 lost. Not from bad investments, but from fees charged by the fund itself. The fix is simple. Invest in low-cost index funds. Look for funds with expense ratios or another name for what the fund charges you. Some are below 0.1%. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab are just a few examples of places that have excellent fee options. You don't need a fancy fund with a flashy name. Boring, diversified, and cheap wins the long game every single time. And here's the biggest of them all. Trap number 8, lifestyle creep. This is what happens when you start making more money and you just start spending more money to match. You get a raise. Suddenly, you need a nicer apartment, a newer car, more dinners out. Your income goes up, but so does your spending. Meanwhile, your savings stays the same. Lifestyle creep is so dangerous because it feels earned. After all, you worked hard. You deserve nice things. And sure, you can enjoy your money, but the trap is letting your entire raise disappear in upgraded expenses every single time you get a raise. Often, they not only become expenses, they become commitments. You have to spend more to maintain that expensive car, the more expensive house, the club memberships. It's not that you can't enjoy those things, but people who become wealthy or reach retirement often get there by making sure they spend less than they earn and invest the difference. How to avoid it. Every time you get a raise, automatically increase the amount going into your savings or investment first. Then spend the rest however you want. Pay yourself first, make it automatic, so you never even see the money hit your checking account. So there you have it, 8 financial traps that can quietly destroy your retirement. None of these traps are death sentences. The earlier you understand this, the more time compound interest has to work for you instead of against you. If you found this content helpful, please hit like and subscribe and help us share this content with people who need it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.